Hey, what's going on, you guys? I want to welcome you back to my channel. And in this video, we're going to go over our weekly analysis for the week of January 15th through the 21st. We're going to break down a few pairs, that way we can see exactly where we're going. Also, we're going to look at the news for this week and see what opportunities we can capitalize off of. Okay, so first off, we're going to start with Forex Factory, just to kind of get a confluence and see exactly what's going on. So as you can see on Monday, we have a few pairs that's going to pop off. So this is based off Central Time. So at 9 a.m. we have some GBP pairs that's going to pop off around 9 a.m. We also have some news on CAD, and we also have this CNY as well. Going into Tuesday, we can see GBP right around our London session has a little bit of action. Closing off the London session right at the end, we have Euro. And then, of course, for our New York session, we have CAD pairs and USD that's going to pop off with CPI. So going into Tuesday, we should definitely see some fireworks. Just be mindful of that if you're trading any CAD pairs or USD pairs. Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. Central, we're going to have some news. Then we're kind of looking off until later in the day. JPY is going to have some news as well. Got monetary policy, and we also have our outlook report. Going into Wednesday, GBP pairs, we have CPI during the London session. And then, of course, USD is going to pop off at 7:30 again in our New York session. Going into Wednesday night, we have a little bit of news on AUD. Thursday, Euro for the London session. We do have some news around 7:30. 12:30 FOMC, so be mindful of that on Thursday. Usually whenever we have FOMC in the middle of the day like this, we definitely have some movement within the market. And then closing it off for Friday, you can see we have Chef and GBP during the London session, Euro closing it out, and then CAD as well as USD pairs again. And it's unusual to see FOMC in the middle of the day on a Friday, so my advice, I don't recommend anyone to kind of be in a market that late on a Friday, but that is the outlook that we have as far as our fundamental analysis. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our technicals. So starting off with GU, as you can see, we initially were bullish on this particular pair, and let's kind of look at the market and see where it's going. You can see we had a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and we have a break of structure right here on GU from a daily perspective. Okay, go ahead and notate that as a daily BOS. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit smaller, about 10 font. Okay, so if we drop to the 4 hour, let's actually look at price action and see what we have. So if we're looking at the 4 hour time frame, we can see initially from this break of structure, we were in a downtrend. I'm sorry. You can see price was in a downtrend, and then of course we had a break of structure on the 4 hour to give us that retest, and possibly pretty much this break of structure is giving us the retest on a daily, on this daily break of structure. So as we see, price possibly is going to come back up into this area here, because we have an imbalance in this area here that price needs to fulfill. And then we also have a huge supply zone. This is the last up move before the down. This is the last up candle before the down move. So we can look at this entire candle here as our supply zone. This is our 4 hour supply zone here. Okay, so one of the things that we're possibly looking at is for price to possibly come up in this area here on a smaller time frame, give us a break of structure, retest, and then come to the downside. That's some of the things that we want to possibly look at. Or what it could do is come up to this area here, wick into this imbalance, give us a break of structure, smaller time frame, retest, and then fall to the downside here as well. So either one of those we can look for. It's just when we get it up to these point of interests, we probably want to drop to possibly a 15 or a 1 hour, just to kind of see exactly what price is doing. Okay, and if we're looking at the 1 hour right now, we can see that we're still in up structure. So we definitely want to be patient and be mindful. We can set some alerts right here, which would be right around 1.22865. And so we can set a point of interest right there as well. If we look on our 4 hour and we take out our Fibonacci tool, we can see that this has already given us more than a 50% pullback. If we take our Fibonacci tool from the bottom to the top, you can see already that it's exceeded our 61.8 and possibly coming up to wick this 78.6, or like I said, wick this imbalance, or even this 4 hour supply and then shoot to the downside. Okay. So right now, it's pretty much a wait and gain for GU. I'm looking for bearish momentum on GU to possibly come down, because as you can see on GU as well, we have a couple areas that has not been mitigated yet. So if we look at this, we have a demand zone here. This is our H4 demand zone, which covers this imbalance as well. So one of the things I'm ultimately looking for is for price to come up here. Like I said, possibly give us a break of structure, retest, and ultimately come down here for this H4 demand zone. Okay. So that's pretty much what we have on GU, you guys. All right. So let's go ahead and look at EU. So looking at EU, let's start with our daily and kind of see exactly what price action is doing. Okay. So we can see for a while, we were in down structure, and we can actually throw a trend on this, a descending trend, even a channel. You can see price was actually in a channel here before it broke out. So this here is actually retail trading and price action 101. As you can see, we had a descending channel, and then price gave us a break, retest, and then usually on break and retest or things like this, what would your entry be? Your entry would be right off the bullish engulfing candle right here. So one of the things you could have done when this candle right here closed, you could have took an entry there, stop loss right up under this candle here. And here's a trick, you guys. If you measure the distance of the top and the bottom, this is actually what your TP, what you can base your TP on right here. So you pretty much want to measure this distance, because price usually feels that particular distance when it breaks a channel, a wedge, a triangle pattern, any of those type of patterns, whether it's a double top, double bottom, head and shoulders, whatever that distance is, that's usually what you set your TP at. Okay, so that's something that you guys could have taken. You know, if it give you a retest, bullish engulfing, take your entry right off the bullish engulfing candle, stop loss right up under there, ride it up to the top. Okay, but neither here or there. That's from a daily perspective. All right, so let's go ahead and look at price action and see exactly what it's doing now. So we broke out of this descending channel here, and then from there we see that we have bullish momentum, higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low here, and then give us an impulse to another higher high. I know that looks a little weird. Let's go ahead and redraw that. Higher high, we got higher high here, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay, so right now currently we're still in bullish momentum from a daily perspective. And one of the things that we can see right now, we have this demand zone here on our daily. Okay, so right now that's the only thing that we can actually see that the market give us from a daily perspective. So if we drop to the 4 hour, We can also see within this daily demand zone, we do have a 4-hour candle here that we can possibly look at as a H4 demand as well. But then also looking at price action, we can see this here is just giving us a few, this looked like some consolidation in this area here before price started to give us a breakout. So we can look at that, trap price into that consolidation box, and we can see price, if we move it to the side here, as you can see, price wicked off. And then from here, we still have indecision in the market. Price broke out, closed above, it closed above the box, gave us a retest. And then here, as you can see, price kind of broke out from there. Okay, so let's drop to the 1 hour and actually look and see exactly what's going on. So more than likely this here was news. I believe this was possibly CPI around 7 o'clock in the morning, or this possibly was 7:30 of last week, which is why we have this long wick and things like that. So if we measure this candle here, we can see that was clearly about 100 or so pips. So that definitely was news from last week. And then you got a major retest before it kind of broke out. So if we drop to the 15-minute, kind of look at price action, we can see we're ultimately still in bullish momentum, because from the 15-minute perspective, higher high, higher low, higher high. This here is our last protected low before we actually break structure and decide to go to the downside. This is our 15-minute break of structure. But one of the things we want to look at, since we're still in bullish momentum, we're not necessarily looking for sales. And as you can see, this is the last down candle before the up move. We have a demand zone here. This is a 15-minute demand zone, and we can see price came, tapped into this demand zone before it started to push to the upside. Now, what did it do? When we're looking at this, we can see from this point here, we're in down structure just on a 15-minute time frame. Then from here, we had a break of structure on the 15-minute. Here's that 15-minute pattern, break of structure on the 15-minute. We came back to retest the last down candle before the up move here, as you can see. This is another 15-minute demand zone. We can see price tapped into this area before it started to push to the upside. Okay, so right now we're in bullish momentum. One of the things we're looking for price to do is possibly take out this liquidity here. We have liquidity here that price needs to take out. Let's drop to the 5-minute to kind of see exactly what's going on as well. So one of the things that we possibly can see, we see price dipped into this area here. From a 5-minute perspective, lower low, lower high, lower low. We had a break of structure on the 5-minute here. 5-minute break of structure. We could have looked at price to come here because this hasn't been mitigated yet. So price still possibly might come down a little bit further, this demand zone here. And we also have an imbalance right above this area here as well. Okay, so one of the things we can notate, but let's look and see if we throw our Fibonacci tool on here, from here to this top portion here, we can see price has not dipped into our golden zone. So we want price to come down here before it actually shoots to the upside. Okay, so we can see price has not hit our premium zone as of yet. So we're still waiting for a pullback within 50%. So possibly before price break this liquidity area here, we'll possibly want to see price come down into this area here on a smaller time frame, break of structure, retest, and then possibly shoot to the upside to clean out this liquidity here. So that's one of the things that we want to look for. So this is a patient game here on GU as well. So we can, if we're looking at this, We could throw a triangle in this area as well. And from our retail trader perspectives, we could look at this as a ascending flag pattern or triangle pattern, however you want to call it. And so we can look at this for some sort of breakout move. You know what I'm saying? So with this particular pattern like this, we can look for price to break, give us a retest, and then shoot down here. Or if price breaks this resistance here, break, retest, shoot to the upside like that. And it might not come back down here because it don't have to. I mean, the market, it does exactly what it wants to do. So, you know, from a retail trader perspective, you can look at either one of these type of moves from this flag pattern here. Okay, so that's a couple of things that we can see on EU. There's so many opportunities out there in the market that we can see that can possibly happen within, you know, this particular pair or this setup. But the most logical and thing that I would like to see the break of this trend here, retest, and then shoot down to this area before it shoots back up. Okay, so that's pretty much what I see on EU. And we just want to let the market give us what it's going to give us. We don't want to force our emotions or our own impulses on the market. We just sit there and let the market give us what it gives us, and we take what the market gives us. We don't have to trade every single day. We wait for the perfect setup before we actually hop in. And let me correct myself. There is no perfect setup, but we wait for the opportunities that coincide with our confluences. Okay. All right. So next, let's go ahead and look at USDCAD. So this particular pair is actually a trade that I'm actually currently in right now. And so one of the things I'm looking for is possibly a second entry. And so if we look at this, I can show you guys exactly what I did before I took this pair initially. Let me actually drop to the 1 minute. So on this particular pair, I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I did. So with this particular pair, initially I saw price come down, give us a few gave us a little small break of structure and things like that, gave us a retest, and I end up hopping in right after this bullish engulfing candle here. So once I got this retest here, bullish engulfing, I hopped in here. And if we look at the overall picture on the market and where it is right now with USDCAD, let's go back to that area. And so right here, the reason why I hopped in it so fast is because this thing tapped into a daily demand zone. And so one of the things that it gave us when it tapped into that demand zone, and I've already taken partials on this particular pair and things like that. It tapped into this demand zone and then price started to just shoot up. And so I ended up taking partial profits when it actually got to this area here, because you can see we have a lot of action here. We got price that's respected in this particular area. But one of the things that I noticed is, as you guys can see, we having a major pullback. So on a bigger time frame, a 15-minute perspective, you see that we have a break of structure on the 15-minute. Okay, 15-minute BOS. And one of the things I'm looking for price to do, which is why I have an entry here, I'm looking for price to possibly come back and tap into this level of demand here on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, I want to see price tap into this and possibly go back to the upside. Okay, because this candle here is the last candle before the up move that gave us this impulse. This impulse here took out this short-term high here, and it also came and took out this liquidity on this left side here. So I'm looking for price to come back, tap into this 15-minute demand zone before it continues to the upside. Now, why do I think this is going to continue to the upside? For two reasons. For one, we have this major double bottom on the 4-hour time frame. And so right here we have a 1 hour supply zone here that I'm looking to actually take price up to. But in the near future, you can see we had news that gave us this massive drop here. With all of this unhealthy price action, they gave us this huge supply zone up here that has not been mitigated. So I do have a sell limit up in this area here for price to possibly come up here, tap into this area, and then come to the downside. So that's a couple of things that I want to see. So for me, you know, some might say, well, I'm not going to take my my TP all the way up here, because one of the things that I've noticed is you don't necessarily want to be greedy. If you look at this, price don't necessarily have to go all the way up in that area, okay? Because right now we're currently in down structure on a daily perspective. Because when you look at this, we had a daily break of structure, retest, and now we're in down structure. You know, when we look at the 4 hour as well, we're in down structure. You know, so I don't want to be too greedy to say that it actually will come all the way up here. I like to get in the market and get out. But this particular move, as you can see, is right around 190 pips. And so already, you know, when price kind of took out this liquidity here, I took partial profits right around in this area, which is right about 100 pips, I believe, is where I took partial profits. And so, like I said, it's going to retrace. So my stop is at entry. And if it wicked me out on the first trade, that's fine. I'm okay with that, because I've already secured 75% of this trade. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much what we're looking at on USDCAD. Like I said, we have a double bottom here on a 4 hour time frame. So I'm looking for price to possibly come up to that area. One of the things I want to see it break this neckline here, give us a retest, and then shoot off once it comes back and retest this area here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and look at AU. Okay. So if we go to the daily time frame for AU, let's actually look exactly what's happening. You know what? Let's go to the weekly on AU, because one of the things I noticed some time ago is, from a weekly perspective, AU was in a downtrend. As you can see, we have lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay. So right now we're seeing price come back possibly to test this supply zone here. This is actually a weekly supply zone. Okay. Price is already in this area here, testing this weekly supply zone. We don't know if it's going to break and retest and shoot to the upside, but we're going to be patient. So let's drop to the daily and see exactly what's going on. All right. So if we look at this, we can see right now a couple of things. We have liquidity in this area right here that price is possibly going to come and fulfill. But we also see, if we look closely, we have a daily demand that has not been mitigated right up in this area right here. Right there. Okay. So we're looking for price possibly to come up to that area. Let me make sure that it's even right there. So we want to see if price will come up to this daily demand area, tap into this, give us a break of structure on a smaller time frame, and maybe shoot to the downside. Or if it breaks this area, give us a closure above this protected high here, then I'm looking for a reversal, and I'm looking for price to continue to the upside. But as of right now, this is what I'm looking for this particular pair. I want to see price dip up into this area and then shoot to the downside. But let's look and see if it's something that we can capitalize off of, on a smaller time frame. So if we're looking from a 4 hour perspective, you can see that we're in up structure. And as you can see, if we look at this, higher high, higher low, higher high, we're getting a pullback here, but price has shot off a little bit. So if we look at that, if we use our Fibonacci from this point to the upside, to the high here, we can see price came, it dipped into the golden zone here, excuse me, before it started to dip off. So if we drop to the 1 hour, we can see as well, all of this action here was that CPI news last week on Thursday but we can see that we're still in up structure because this is the last protected low here. Let's drop to the 15-minute. So if we're looking at the 15-minute, let's see something. So right now, market is a little ugly, but we can see on the 15-minute, we still have upward structure here. And you can see it's not clean. It's not clean at all. I don't like it. So yeah, I want to possibly wait on this particular pair just to kind of see exactly what it's going to do, because it's not clean or concise. So one of the things I would wait for is for price to break this last high here, give us another pullback, that way we can see clean structure, or ultimately wait until, you know, it kind of gets up to this daily area here, tap into this, and then start to give us some price action. But that's pretty much what I see on this particular pair. Let's look at the 4-hour again. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just gonna wait on this particular pair. Okay, let's go ahead and look at EG, Euro Pound. Okay, we stopped. I mean, if we go ahead and look at the daily time frame for this particular pair, we can see we had a break of structure. So let's look at this. Let's look at it. All right. So from a daily perspective, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, massive higher high with news, came down, give us a break of structure right here. Okay. We had a break of structure. We had a break of structure in this area here. This was on our daily time frame. Where are we? Daily BOS. Okay. Then from there, we wanted to see a retest before it shot to the downside. Okay. And we can see on this particular pair, you know, it gave, let's see if it gave us a test 50% or greater. It actually didn't. So we can see that price is starting to pull back in this area here. So this is the entire area here, which is our golden zone. Hold on one second. Let me come right here. This is what we want to see price ultimately tap into before we consider taking anything to the downside or anything like that. So let's drop to the 4-hour and look at price action. So from a 4-hour perspective, we can see we're still in the uptrend. Okay. We have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. All of this right here is noise. Okay. We don't want to get confused by the noise. We want to look at the areas in which we have the actual moves that price has given us, impulses that's breaking structure and things like that. Okay. So we can see that we've made a higher high or whatever, and we can actually notate that here just so we'll know these last 2 points here on a 4-hour time frame. Okay. So one of the things that we can see, no, actually, hold on. So when we were looking at that move, when we came down here, we had another move here. Okay. So I want to make sure I don't miss that move there. Okay. Bam and bam. So this is the leg of structure that we're working with right here. Okay. So as we can see though, if we throw our Fibonacci tool on this, from here to here, price is already within our golden zone. And here is our last, we can look at this entire area actually as our demand zone. This is a H4 demand zone. Remove our Fibonacci. So price is already within our parameters of our 50% and our 4-hour demand zone. So if we drop to the 1 hour, let's take a look. So in the 1 hour area, we still have a demand zone here on an H1 time frame. Price wicked into it just slightly. Let's drop to the 15 minute and see what we see. Okay, so we see a little something, we see a little bit more confluence down here. We can see that we have a demand zone that has not been mitigated on the 15 minute. Okay, and we have an imbalance as well. Okay, let me get that off of there. So one of the things that we can see right now from a 15-minute perspective, lower low, lower high, lower lows, possibly coming to maybe mitigate this supply zone here, maybe come down to this area here. We don't know, but we want to wait and see exactly what the market is going to give us. Okay, we can see we got a bullish engulfing right here, so we know price wants to come up and do something. And if you can see right off of this supply zone, we have a hammer. This here is a reversal candle in itself. Okay, this is a 15-minute supply right there. So we want to see if price will come up to this area, smaller time frame, break of structure, retest, shoot back to the downside. Okay, because ultimately I want to see if price will hit this 15-minute demand zone down here. Okay, but we just want to be patient. We just want to be patient, because right now we know that we're in up structure. Price could continue and break this and just go and make another higher high, but I want to see if it'll come down a little bit further before it continues up. Because if it comes all the way down to this area here, hit this, give us that move that we're looking for, break of structure, retest, and shoot up, we could target something, you know, right up in this area here. Stop loss under the protected low here or under here. TP. Take out the last week high right here. That's what we can look to do. Okay. But that's pretty much what we see on EG. Like I said, we want to be patient. And then last but not least, let's look at gold. Okay. Gold had some major moves last week, especially with CPI news. Okay. So let's remove some of this stuff here. So as you guys can see, if we're looking at gold from a daily perspective, this is my outlook on gold. Gold had well, let's go ahead and mark it up. Let's mark it up. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Down here gave us almost like a triple bottom down here. Came up for a while, gave us a break of structure. Okay, no retest or anything as of yet. And we can see this thing is on a massive trend, just shooting up. You see we got a daily trend here, but we also fanned it out with a 4-hour trend here. So this here, when you see two trends like this, this is called trend line fanning. Okay, so we fanned our trend out from a 4-hour perspective. So if we drop to the 4-hour, we can see that this thing is bullish. It's just constantly staircasing up, staircasing on this trend here, and it's still going up. But hold on one second. If we drop to the weekly, if we go to the weekly time frame, one of the things that I noticed is we have this massive, oh, it's supposed to be a supply zone. Hold on one second. Bam. Okay. We have this massive weekly supply that has not been mitigated, and we can see prices rushing to get up to this area here. And we also have a daily imbalance up in this area as well. As you can see, we have a daily imbalance, and we also have a daily supply right here that has not been mitigated. And we can see price wasn't up here. Last time price was up here, it was April of last year. And so let's go back to the weekly right quick. That way we can fix our supply zone for the daily. We'll move that over there. Daily supply. Okay, right there. Now let's look at price and see exactly what it's doing. Let's break it down a little bit. So if we're on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that, let's check this out for a second, you guys. Price consolidated around 1876 to 72 area. If we drop to the 1 hour, one of the things that you can see, what I saw initially, there were a few things. So we had this ascending flag pattern here, and you can see, because I think initially I had a zone on here, something like this initially. Okay. And so this thing, it gave a few fake outs, it gave all type of things. But one of the things I want you guys to see is, I'll show you. I didn't take this trade, but here's one of the things that I noticed. In this area, as far as the distance, that's what I want to show you guys. If we took the distance here and we move this up, when we actually got our breakout move, like let's just say if we end up taking right on this candle here, or whatever the case may be, I think it was a 15-minute. I think that's where I saw it. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. All right, so let's move this out the way. So on a 15-minute time frame, one of the things I want you guys to notice is on each one of these candles, when it broke this area, none of these candles gave an engulfing candle, which gave you the symbol that it was going to break out. As you can see, this candle never engulfed this candle here. And so, like I said, I didn't take this, but this is something that I noticed just from pure price action. As you can see here, we got bullish, bearish, bullish, but price still came back, took out the bottom of these, never engulfed this candle, never gave us any indication that it was going to shoot off. As you can see, price action is still playing around in this area, came up, still no bullish engulfing, dropped off until we got to this area here. You see price came up, gave us a retest, bullish engulfing candle right here. Okay, now check this out. From the bullish engulfing, remember that we talked about the distance and the flag patterns. So you see we measured the distance here and here. As you can see, when we had this bullish engulfing, check this out. Bullish engulfing right here, you could have entered right here after the bullish engulfing. Stop loss could have been right up under this area here, or up under this candle, whichever one you choose, and you could have rolled this for the distance of this. Look at this, price came up here perfectly, whipped through that, and then it shot all the way down. So that's one of the tips that you guys can do. Like I said, whenever you have a flag pattern, measure the distance of the flag pattern from the fattest point. And whenever you get that breakout and you get that bullish momentum, or you can see that bullish move pattern or whatever for that candle, that candlestick pattern, that's where you can take your entry, stop loss, and then your TP is the distance. Okay, but let's go ahead and continue with our analysis on gold. So this move here, this was CPI last week. As you can see, this was on Thursday, 7:30. This massive doji. This was a huge candle. Huge candle. This was about 286 pips. Okay, so if we're looking at this right now, let's go to the 4 hour for a second. As you can see on the 4 hour time frame, price is just giving us bullish momentum. Price came down, gave us a nice little retest here, gave us a bullish, bearish, bullish. Price continued up to the upside. Okay. All right, we drop over here. You can see on this area right here, right around 1894 area, we got a tweezer bottom. That right there is a reversal candle in itself. This is a tweezer bottom on a key bank level right here. Shot off. Unhealthy price action, still haven't mitigated. That's why we have a H4 demand of M15 and also a H1 demand. All of these demands here has to be mitigated, but they're not. But you can see on the H1, price came up, gave us a bullish, bearish, bullish, another continuation. So right now, if we drop to a smaller time frame and we look at price, we can see we're actually trapped in another pattern here. Okay, so we got these patterns that always breaks out for us. Look on the 15-minute. So we want to see what price is going to do. We want to see if price is going to break below this, give us a retest, shoot to the downside, maybe give us something like this, come back down, and then possibly price can take us back down to this area here before it continues back up. Or if it don't, you know, we can look for a break of this descending wedge here and then shoot to the upside. So either one of those. So we combine, we giving you the best of both worlds. We're combining institutional trading with retail trading. So like I said, the market, you go and get what the market gives you. You don't impulse your will on the market. You take what the market gives you and you run with it. Okay. And so with something like this, you can come here from the top to the bottom. You know, that can be your distance. You know, if it break this and it give you that that pattern, this can be your distance as far as your TP. If it gave you a bullish engulfing or something like that, stop loss can be somewhere up in here, however you want to have it. TP right there, you know, just to be safe if you're a scalper or something like that. So that right there, that's about 31 pips, 20 pips as far as your stop loss, or however you want to do it. But yeah, there's just some tips that you can see. But ultimately on gold, I'm looking for gold to go all the way up to this weekly supply. We still have a long way to go, but that's where I'm looking for gold to actually get to. All right. Hey, you guys, I want to thank you guys for rocking with me. This is my analysis for the week. I hope you guys have a great trading week. Blessings always. If you guys need anything, you already know that the Discord is in the description. You guys can always give me a shout, and I'll see you guys on the next video. I hope this was informative. I'll see y'all later.